Are you having trouble opening pill bottles? Are bottle caps impossible for you to get off? Does your wife's boyfriend keep beating you at arm wrestling? Or maybe you're just looking for the key to eternal life. Here at Upper Extremity Engineers, we're going to show you the secrets to unlocking your maximum potential with grip strength.
All right, let's get serious for a minute. Whether you're a senior who's having trouble with weak grip or you're an athlete who's just looking to improve your game, we're going to take a look at some basic and advanced exercises to really improve your grip strength and improve your function overall. So why is grip strength so important? Well, research shows us that there's a connection between improved grip strength and decreased risk for falls, improved heart health, decreased blood pressure, increased longevity, and also decreased risk for cognitive decline and dementia. That being said, just because you can squeeze one of these and get a high number on it, or just because you sit there all day, every day working on squeezing a gripper and get your grip strength up, that's not going to make you necessarily live longer. There's no substitute for just having a good exercise routine. So if you're aging, if you're struggling with staying physically fit and you're just focusing on grip strength, that's not necessarily going to do it. You need to have a good, all-encompassing exercise program, something that's going to focus on grip, but also going to focus on those other major muscle groups. Let's talk about how to measure grip strength. So most of us have seen videos where there's an NFL team, the US Olympic gymnast team, your regular farm boy, just working on these. Usually they're digital in the videos, and they're testing their grip strength. Most of the time they're holding it down here, squeezing as hard as they possibly can, and then taking a look at their measurement and comparing. But that's not the scientific way to do this. This is a standardized test. So this is not a digital dynamometer. It's calibrated, it's a little bit more accurate. That being said, those digital dynamometers are great and they give you a good ballpark whether or not they're a few pounds off of what we're looking for. But if you want to test your grip strength with one of these or a digital one, the standardized way to do it is to hold your elbow at your side at 90 degrees and you're just going to squeeze as hard as you possibly can. And then you'll take a look at what it is and go from there. There is some flexibility with how you hold your wrist, and research shows us that about 30 degrees of wrist extension, so when we're pulling that wrist back just a little bit, actually gives us better grip strength. So you can hold it like this and squeeze, and that's just as reliable as if we did with the neutral wrist.
This is for the older population. Let's say you're just trying to increase your longevity, that type of thing. If you've got any arthritic aches or pains, then you're going to understand the importance of what I'm about to say. So it's not a good idea to roll out of bed in the morning and go straight into training your hand and working on tight squeezes and pinches with your thumb or lifting really heavy weights. It's a better idea to get up, warm up first, whether that be through heat for 10 or 15 minutes or cardiovascular exercise such as walking, leg exercises, body weight exercises, that type of thing. So don't just roll out of bed and go straight into training your grip. Plus, you're going to have a lot more strength in your hands and be able to squeeze and activate your muscles a lot better if you warm your muscles up first. So that's a pro tip. Warm up before you begin these exercises.
All right, so starting with the basics, here's one thing that I would recommend. It's a grip strength trainer. You can grab it off of Amazon for about $6, $7, and it's adjustable and ergonomic. When I say adjustable, we can start low, somewhere about 20 pounds, and then we can crank it up and go somewhere around about 130 or so. This is great. This is beginner friendly, man, woman, senior. It's a good place to get started. We're gonna start somewhere where it's difficult to close, but you can close it all the way. That's the goal. So rep-wise, I'd probably go something that's more functional, somewhere around 20, 15 reps or so. And as that gets easier and easier, where it's not difficult to close, bump it up. Increase the resistance until it's just barely closable. If you're new to exercise, especially if these are muscles that you haven't worked a whole lot, you're gonna definitely feel some soreness the next day. Like we talked about in one of our other videos, we just don't want soreness that lasts more than a couple days, 72 hours at the max. So start light and work your way up.
Okay, so real quick, there's different types of muscles. You've got your extrinsic muscles and your intrinsic muscles. That's a fancy way to say where the muscles start and where they end. So some left behind muscles that people often forget about would be the intrinsic muscles. They originate and insert in the hand. The strongest of the intrinsic muscles is a muscle called your adductor pollicis. That's the muscle that brings your thumb in towards your index finger, kind of like that. It's what gives people this pad right here. With a lot of older people, especially if you have nerve issues, this is atrophied. It becomes flattened due to a lot of different issues, from non-use, from nerve, all kinds of different things. You get some muscle wasting there. So if you one really easy one to add in, this is also a good warm-up, because as you see here, we're going to use warm water. All you need is a sponge or a towel. You kind of wedge this in like this, and I'm going to get my hand under the warm water. For me, this sponge is probably a little small, so I'm going to go it sideways like this, and I'm going to try to push together. And you can see me activating that muscle right there. And then relax. And then I'm going to adjust the sponge. I'm going to do it again as tight as I can make it. And you should feel lots of tension in here. And you could just rep that out. You could do like 15-second holds with that. You could do 30-second holds, just kind of listen to your thumb. But you're never going to have like massive hand muscles, like you're not bodybuilding your hands. But you can definitely improve the strength of your hands. This is another one that, like Ben was saying, I would not do like every day probably, because it's pretty tough. It might make you sore. This should not hurt at all because it's just your thumb. You can actually wear out your thumb if you're pushing through too much pain. But I would kind of set a stopwatch, maybe do that for 2 to 5 minutes, somewhere in that range. There's not really much reason to go longer than 5 minutes with that. And while we're over here at the sink, another one you can work on is just take that sponge again. We're going to work on a tight composite fist. So ideally the sponge would be a little bit bigger, but for the sake of the video, let's just keep going. So you're going to squeeze, and you should feel lots of tension in your arm when you're doing this. You're trying to activate all the muscles in your forearm as tight as you can without pain. So like, let's say I do have arthritis and a little bit of aches and pains. I'm not going to try to death grip it right off the bat. It may start with just like a half squeeze or a 75% effort squeeze. And then you open. You've got a 15-second close, and then you can relax. 15-second close, and you can relax. You could play around with a couple different positions. You could work on kind of squeezing like that, or you could bring your fist up here and kind of squeeze like that. That's something to kind of start thinking about, is the position of your hand, because depending on where you're at, you're using the muscle slightly differently. So like you could work on a hook fist, a full fist, kind of somewhere in between in that transition phase, and just kind of work that back and forth. And I would just kind of time yourself, and it's taking longer than 5 minutes, you're probably overdoing it. Repetitive gripping can lead to arthritis if you do too much of that.
Okay, so like Ryan said earlier, we have different muscles, and one thing people forget about a lot are these intrinsic muscles. They're about 50% of our grip strength. So yes, lots of strength comes from here in the forearm. Those extrinsics, if you think about it like external, it's outside of the hand. The intrinsics are inside of the hand. But one of the big ones is called the lumbricals. So they do this position. They bend here at these knuckles called your MPs, and they straighten these knuckles here. So we kind of do this duckbill position. So what you're going to do is grab a towel, you're going to hold it in that position, and you're going to squeeze and hold for about 20 to 30 seconds. We're doing some isometric strengthening here. Again, this shouldn't be painful, but you should feel some fatigue, maybe a little bit of muscle burning, but that's all. Let's talk about the wrist a little bit. People don't think necessarily about strengthening the wrist when they're strengthening grip strength, but if you're thinking about opening a bottle, our wrist is not staying in a static position. We're turning, we're moving there. Like we talked about with the dynamometer, we have more grip strength when our wrist is slightly back. So we want to focus on that wrist too. And these are pretty basic exercises, great beginner exercises, but we're starting with the wrist hanging off either a table, your knee, something like that. And we're bending that wrist down and coming back. just like that. And this is important to find the weight that is right for you. Something where we're not having pain, where it's slightly difficult, but it's not impossible for us to go through our full range of motion. So just like this. So after you do a set of those, go ahead and flip it over, go palm up here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to take that wrist back as far as it goes, and then go up. So just like that.
All right.
All right, let's take a look at some more intense grip strengthening activities. So we're talking about somebody who's an athlete. Maybe you're looking to get better at rock climbing, at your grip in baseball, for golf. Maybe you just like to work out and you just want to get stronger and increase that overall grip strength. So these are going to be more advanced and they're going to be a little more difficult. We're expecting you've already done some grip strengthening at this point, and we're going to go from there.
So this one, I've got some plate pinches here. This is about right for me because it's pretty challenging. We're strengthening those intrinsic muscles of the hand that are commonly forgotten about, like we mentioned prior to that. They give your hand about 50% of their grip strength, so they're actually really important. So like you could get a hold of a plate, the heaviest you can pick up without pain, and you could carry it around. You could set a stopwatch for time, and you could try to beat your time every time you do this. You could do like 60 seconds, a minute and a half. Now, I mean, if you could carry these things all day, it's too light. So like my grip's already starting to feel that. So like that was a couple seconds. So like I could probably go longer, but for the sake of the video, let's stop there. It should be pretty challenging as far as like you shouldn't be able to do it forever. That's one that I would say for the end of a workout. So like you wouldn't go to the gym and go straight to grip strengthening. You do maybe your legs or your bench press or your deadlifts or whatever, and then burn it out with the grip strength. The grip strength challenges are kind of a good finisher for a workout. They're not a good beginner unless you're really, really into like grip strengthening. So you'll need a pull-up bar or something to hang from for this one. This is one of my personal favorites for developing grip strength. As a former baseball player, I used to do this a lot at the end of a workout, because having strong hands and strong forearms does kind of translate to some faster bat speed. It's also good for golfers or any type of swinging sport where you're having to really swing something. But a good way to do it at the end of your workout, lock your hands around something, and the bigger the grip, obviously the harder it is. So that's a pretty big grip, and you could just do a dead hang. You could set your stopwatch and try to beat your record each time. Let's say I'm getting tired now. I could put my feet down on the ground and just give myself a little bit of assistance to make myself get to go even further with that. And then you could just sit there and hold. And then once you can get really tired of that, then you'd obviously just stop. So like a good way to do that might be like do real pull-ups first and then burn it out with just iso holds at the end and really focus on kind of the squeeze and beating your personal record each time. Now, that's not going to be something you can do like 20 times in a row. Those are extremely difficult. So you might could do 2 or 3 in a row, and then you'd have to stop. So like working on rows, as long as you're focusing on the squeeze, is actually another one of my favorite ways to build up really strong hands and arms. So you want to get your cables with 2 hands. So like it's easier just to do 2 because you can really load it up with a lot of weight. You can do a lot more weight with 2 hands than you can 1. And the purpose of this is to kind of get your central nervous system lifting really heavy stuff. So you can see we've loaded it up there. You can kind of lean back away from it a little bit and then just focus on pulling it towards you. But as you pull it towards you, squeeze as hard as you can. And then kind of relax on the way out and then squeeze as hard as you can. And you could just rep that out as many times as you want to until you get tired. And you could finish with just kind of squeeze and burn out and kind of hold like that. Of course, you could also change the angle that you're pulling from to kind of hit the muscles a little bit differently, but it doesn't matter that much. So. Another good one you can do is just called farmer's carry. So get the heaviest dumbbells or kettlebells you can pick up and just kind of carry them around your gym. Do it as long as you can without dropping them, obviously, and without pain. Let's say I'm getting tired there, then I might stop and just do like an iso hold. This is kind of another way you could do it. You could literally just sit here and kind of squeeze and hold. and really grip tightly. Set your stopwatch, try to beat your record each time you do it. So the next one is one you might not have seen before. You really need a kettlebell to do this one well. So get the heaviest weights you can handle safely, and just kind of really squeeze the grip and try not to shake a whole lot. You're really focusing on wrist stability. If you feel pretty comfortable with that, you can do overhead press with it, kind of like that. You could also hold it above your head and squeeze and kind of walk around with it, just to let gravity kind of bounce it around a little bit to make it a little more unstable and a little bit harder on the wrist stability. Pro tip, don't just let it sling down like that because you're going to hurt yourself. So once you get tired, have that other hand close by and slowly let it down. So this one, you can use sand or rice, just fill a Lowe's bucket full. I used to do these for baseball quite a bit. So stick your hand down in it, open your fingers, kind of close your fingers, and you can just kind of grip and twist, or you can twist the other way, kind of like that. You probably would want to stand up, give yourself better leverage with it. And I would need a little bit more sand, so this is just for the sake of the video, and you would just do that until your hand gets tired or until you feel like your arm's kind of full of lactic acid. And you just kind of burn that out. And then you would do the other hand. You could also kind of squeeze and hold and then open. Squeeze and hold, then open. Kind of do that. And if you get your hand down in the sand far enough, you're strengthening the extensors of the hand and the flexors of the hand. So that's good. Another tool that I'm sure you're familiar with if you're into grip strengthening is the Captain's Crush grippers. These are good, but they're also really, really challenging. They're not super beginner friendly. So it might not be for you if you've never really exercised before. If you do have one, I'd probably start with like the half or the one and just squeeze and close. And you could rep that out as many times as you can at night, let's say before bed, that type of thing. Or you could just kind of squeeze and do a long hold, which is really difficult to do as well. You don't want to do that one cold because these are really, really difficult. So make sure you warm it up first. Don't do them every day. A closing thought about what we've talked about so far. There's no magic rep range that you need to follow with each of these. Everybody's so different. Every sport is so different. It really requires listening to your body, giving yourself adequate rest time. You definitely don't want to be strength training every single day. Especially the grip, I definitely would not do heavy grip work every single day. You might develop tendonitis or arthritis, and it just wouldn't be a good thing. So use common sense, listen to your body, and kind of exercise in a pain-free way.